I'm near Heathrow Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. This place is in boom times. It's growing rapidly. They've got a new terminal building. This programme is about leadership in boom times. In this programme, we'll be going to meet people who are passionate about leadership, who've got a huge amount of experience. We'll then be going to a leadership centre in the Lake District, where we'll be exploring all issues relating to leadership in boom times. This programme is about leadership in boom times, you know, when things are going really well, and, you know, it would be a lovely world if things always went well, but we know they don't. What sort of pressures, you know, can you have when you're leading in these really busy but good times?
I think the real pressure is being able to look forward, is to say, okay, the engine is running really sweetly and really quickly at the moment, but how can we change? What do I need to do? Let me stand back off this and look forward.
And what sort of issues do you think are easy to ignore when things are just going well?
I think it's quite easy to ignore people, actually, when things are going well, because what I think is well might not be well for somebody else.
What sort of pressures can you have when leading in these really busy and good times?
I think it's the scariest time of the lot, because every bubble does burst, and we know that throughout history, that, you know, for as long as the bubble goes, you can be having a great time. Never take your eye off the ball.
How can you stop your people becoming smug and complacent if they exceed their targets?
Move the goalposts.
Burnout is a very important one, the tendency to feel omnipotent and that you can take on anything that comes along and then, as it were, sow the seeds of your own destruction by being overly confident. I mean, some of the other things are, one can develop a sense, or connected to this, a sense of hubris, that, as it were, all this success comes about solely because of one's own brilliant leadership. Whereas, you know, we know, in fact, that the roots of success, the cause of success, are often multiple and very dispersed.
I think the pressures are that you don't get carried away by thinking you're great as a leader, because often your quality as a leader is actually in the tough times. That's when it's shown, not in the boom times. So I think it's really important to remember all the golden rules: value your people, don't take them for granted, convince them that the business is going well, but very importantly, prepare them for the inevitable move away from the boom times. They never last forever. A company graph doesn't just go up like that, and the strength of a company, and I believe an individual, is how quickly you come out of the dip. Is it terminal, or can you pick it up?
On the programme today, I have 3 guests and a cartoonist. My first guest is Barry Rogers, who's an expert performance coach. Welcome to the programme, Barry.
Thanks, Jonathan.
My second guest is Olivia Stefanino, who is the author of Be Your Own Guru. Welcome to the programme.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello. My third guest is David Sales, who's an expert business manager. Welcome to the programme, David.
Hi, Jonathan.
And finally, our cartoonist is Roy Nixon, who's had over 50 years cartooning experience. Welcome to the programme, Roy.
Pleasure to be here, Jonathan.
Today we're going to be talking about leadership in adversity. Now, Barry, you've had first-hand experience of leading in adversity. What's different to leading in adversity versus leading in any other time?
If you want the honest answer to that, at the time, I thought my world was falling apart. And I suppose my main concern was that coming into the office one morning and 4 people coming in and putting their notice on my table didn't exactly leave me feeling really good about myself. And the other thing that I suppose bugged me more about that was I needed to really dig deep and find some inner strength that I knew I was going to need. And I was relatively inexperienced at that time as well, and I needed the support of my managing director, which I got. But I had a large sales team, and I knew that things were being said differently to the guys in the sales team to what was maybe being said to me. But that for me was a particularly stressful time in my sales management career.
The absenteeism figures have improved enormously since we employed a former matron. Yeah, thank you very much for that. In the programme today, I have 3 guests and a cartoonist. My first guest is Barry Rogers, who's an expert performance coach. Welcome to the programme, Barry.
Thanks, Jonathan.
My second guest is Olivia Stefanino, who's the author of Be Your Own Guru. Welcome to the programme, Olivia.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And my final guest is David Sales, who's an experienced business manager. Welcome to the programme, David.
Hi, Jonathan.
I should have said leader as well there. Finally, I'd like to introduce Roy Nixon, our cartoonist, who quite remarkably has over 50 years experience as a professional cartoonist. Welcome to the programme, Roy.
Nice to be here, Jonathan.
In the programme today, we're going to be talking about leadership in boom times, times when things are really, really good. I'd like to start, with you, Barry. What sort of pressures do you think leaders have when leading in these really busy times where everything seems to be good, business is going well, and it's a success story all the way?
I noticed this back in the 70s, sort of mid to late 70s and early 80s. I was working in the construction industry then. I used to sell chemicals to builders, and everything was going phenomenally well. I mean, there were grants available, you could do anything, money was coming out of these builders' ears, And so we were doing phenomenal business. But it was so easy for us as managers and leaders to actually become quite complacent about that. And you're rolling along on this crest of a wave. How much of that were we actually leading or really effectively managing, or it was just, that's the way it was, the market conditions were right?
What about the pressure though? Was there pressure? Because it sounded to me like there's no pressure.
Well, no, I think the pressures were underneath. If we were honest with ourselves, that we knew that this was not actually going to last.
Right, just before we close, let's go back to Roy.
Excuse me.
Are you there, Roy?
I am.
Okay.
And what better way to end than with Master of the Universe?
Master of the Universe. He's in one of his black moods. His lottery numbers failed again. Thank you very much for that, Roy. I'd like to thank all my guests.